Whosoever is delighted in solitude is either a wild beast or a god. Aristotle, the philosopher. Some people become excited when they hear the word solitude because they picture days devoid of company and discussion, spent in quiet and solitary. Others, on the other hand, find serenity in this isolation, realizing their own creative potential and strength when cut off from the incessant clamor of civilization. However, loneliness may still exist in our highly connected society and have a negative impact on our mental and emotional health, much like the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius did. But what if being alone was truly a hidden opportunity rather than a danger to be avoided? A chance to think, to grow, and to get stronger. But seizing this chance is not without its difficulties. Going solo can be intimidating at first. It's like standing on the brink of a wilderness and not knowing what's around the corner. Furthermore, there is a fine line between healthy seclusion and the kind that undermines our well-being by converting peaceful times into causes of worry and hopelessness. How do we walk this fine line and use our alone time as an effective means of self-improvement? This film explores the art of solitude and offers ideas from the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius, who understood the benefits of accepting alone for introspective development. Whether it is something we choose or is forced upon us, isolation can become a trusted ally in our life journey if we can learn to be alone in a healthy way. Therefore, stay still if the idea of being alone makes you feel more anxious than calm. The stillness that threatened at the beginning of this journey can turn into a source of strength by the finish. 1. Be your own host. Humans are gregarious animals by nature. We frequently fear alone and want for connection. Yet, happiness and personal development depend greatly on learning the art of being alone yourself. It is still true today, as it was centuries ago, that the Stoics taught us that contentment and self-sufficiency originate from inside. To be honest, accepting solitude doesn't mean isolating yourself from others or turning into the archetypal lone wolf. Rather, it means learning to be your own best friend. The first step in doing this is changing the way we view and care for ourselves when we are by ourselves. Consider entertaining in your own house. Would you give yourself the best seat, converse politely, and serve a well-prepared meal? By embracing our alone time as a chance for reflection and self-care rather than as a gap that needs to be filled, this act of self-hosting teaches us to be kind to ourselves. Self-care extends beyond our mental state and into our physical surroundings. When we're the only ones in our environment, it's simple to take them for granted. But our impression of ourselves and our mood are greatly influenced by the condition of our living environment. Heavy duties can be as mentally taxing as an untidy, messy home. However, a spotless, organized area can serve as a haven for introspection and personal development. Making time to tidy up is a practical way to practice self-respect, not only for other people, but also for ourselves. It's an external behavior that establishes the foundation for a constructive and positive alone time by reaffirming the feeling that we are worthwhile. Furthermore, the conversations we have with ourselves while we are by ourselves mold our outlook on life and sense of self. One of the most effective methods for building mental resilience is the Stoic practice of monitoring our thoughts and confronting negative self-talk. The ability to recognize our inner narrative and gently steer it toward more positive and compassionate dialogues is one of the special benefits of spending time alone. It's about learning to be a mentor to oneself, giving advice and support with the same openness we would show a close friend. 2. Understand that we are always connected. Although solitude frequently results in feelings of loneliness, it also has the ability to forge strong connections between us and the outside world. Recognizing how to be alone without feeling lonely is crucial in a time when social media and continual connectedness can paradoxically make us feel more alone than ever. The key lies not in constantly occupying oneself with diversions, but in realizing that solitude presents a special chance to establish a connection with oneself, and consequently, with the cosmos. It's about realizing that we are all on the same human journey, despite our unique experiences. This insight has the power to change loneliness from something to be feared to something to be treasured. The first step in changing our viewpoint on solitude is to practice mindfulness and presence. One might choose to live in the now and find delight in the little things in life, as opposed to letting their thoughts linger on what they don't have. These experiences, which can include enjoying the taste of food, the sound of birds singing, or the warmth of the sun, serve as a constant reminder of the wonder of our shared life. Epictetus, the ancient philosopher, observed that our response to life's events is what disturbs us, not the events themselves. We can live a more fulfilled and connected life when we decide to view isolation as an opportunity rather than a drawback. Developing a compassionate and respectful connection with oneself is essential to fully embracing isolation. This is doing things like reading, writing, or taking up a hobby, things that uplift the soul and broaden the mind. It entails approaching oneself with the same empathy and consideration that we would show a close friend. When we do this, loneliness turns into a time of personal development and revelation, during which the profound knowledge that we are never really alone fills the stillness. If we can just allow our hearts to be open to seeing it, we are forever entwined in the complex web of life, linked to everything and everyone. 3. Sit with it. When quiet gets too loud, have you ever found yourself avoiding your own company in search of other distractions? This is a typical situation in our contemporary, constantly connected life. However, accepting solitude is an art form as much as a necessity. Your inner landscape can be changed by being able to sit with your own ideas without looking for approval from others or entertainment. It involves confronting the aspects of ourselves that we frequently avoid, the anxieties, the insecurities, and the dreams we're afraid to pursue. Developing a friendship with solitude is about discovering the world within, which is just as big and exciting as the outer world. It is not about closing off the outside world. Journaling and mindfulness are two practices that might act as guides on this inner journey. Being mindful helps us to become aware of the tensions in our bodies, the patterns in our thinking, and the thoughts and feelings we experience without passing judgment. We can express these observations through journaling, which we will discuss in more detail later in the video. It can provide clarity and occasionally uncover solutions that are lying in plain sight. When was the last time you asked yourself a genuine question about your feelings without anticipating a typical, fine response? Being able to sit alone is a courageous act, and doing so reshapes not only our minds, but our entire lives. It's about fortifying our inner fortress so that, when the storms arrive, we remain steady, anchored in who we are, and unswayed by the mayhem all around us. By spending time alone ourselves, we can explore the ocean of our thoughts and become aware of the tides and currents that influence our decisions and behaviors. We discover actual freedom in these silent times of reflection, the freedom to decide, to adapt, to develop. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This statement is echoed by this. Therefore, dare to enter this inner sanctuary, peel back the layers, face the discomfort, and behold the transformation that lies ahead. You might find the fortitude and tranquility you've been looking for in the isolation you once dreaded. 4. Follow your dreams. Let's discuss how being alone isn't only about being by yourself. It's also about finding a way to make dreams come true and become more than just ideas. Have you ever pondered why, on sometimes the quietest parties, seem richer than the silence in your own company? It's because you can hear the voice guiding you toward your deepest desires during those calm times. That's when you begin to realize that we frequently stray from our own unique journeys in order to follow the pack. Have you ever found yourself acting in a certain way only because other people were acting in that way? participating in activities that aren't in line with your passion, or watching television that you don't enjoy. That's a dream stealer, the herd mentality at work. Setting aside time for oneself permits reflection, which is an essential step for anyone pursuing their dreams. These are the times when clarity arises, and when clarity does, a strategy can be developed. Reducing distractions creates a universe in which determination and focus are the driving forces, turning ambitions into ongoing projects rather than far-off goals. However, how can we enjoy our alone time without becoming lonely? The first step is to refute the stereotype that being alone equates to loneliness. When we invest time in what we love, fulfillment ensues, eliminating the possibility of loneliness. It's about appreciating the journey and understanding that each step you take will get you one step closer to reaching your dreams. Never forget that pursuing ambitions leads to a solitary but never lonely journey. It's full of self-realization, resiliency, and in the end, the understanding that we all have the capacity to make our goals come true. Please give this a thumbs up if you have found anything useful so far. 5. Investigate nature. There is an old proverb that states, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." Have you ever had the impression that life is passing you by too quickly, and that you are yearning for solitude, but are unsure of how to accept it? Loneliness and boredom don't have to accompany being alone. Consider it as an open invitation to explore the great outdoors and rediscover yourself amid the peace and quiet. The goal of this solitary trip is to find inner peace and a deeper understanding of oneself rather than to escape life. Why not follow nature's uncomplicated path? Consider this. When was the last time you really paid attention to the details on a leaf, the patterns on a tree's bark, or a bird's graceful flight? We learn the skill of being present from nature, which is full with silent knowledge. Your inner voice is easiest to hear during these peaceful times by yourself. Begin with something as easy as going for a solo stroll in the park. Be mindful. Think back. When you give your thoughts room to air, what ideas come to mind? What is your emotional state of solitude? This practice taps into the Stoic idea that inner peace originates from inside, not from the outside world. Rather than being about solitude, it's about creating an environment where you may flourish in your own company. Now think of the problem of accepting isolation as a chance to grow rather than as a barrier. Stoicism teaches us the importance of being self-sufficient and content, no matter what circumstances arise. You can therefore exercise your emotional and cerebral muscles when you're alone yourself. What are your own strengths that you are neglecting? In the company of nature, what aspects of yourself could you better comprehend or develop? Not only is self-improvement the goal of this introspection, but it also aims to teach you the important lesson that you already have within you, everything you require. 6. Make something. You are by yourself. Everything is silent, and the rush of daily life disappears. You have the ability to create anything here, which demonstrates your tenacity and inventiveness. What will you create during these quiet times by yourself? Is it going to be a song, a poetry, a garden, or a blueprint for something new? The process of creation is transforming. It's a dialogue with your innermost self. You are constructing a bridge between your inner world and the reality you live in with every invention. Your heart, mind, and hands all become tools in the telling of your own tale. When was the last time you gave your ideas any genuine attention? Sometimes the noisiest guests are your own thoughts when you find yourself sitting alone with them. How would you handle them? Flip them over, select the ones that strengthen you, and discard the remainder. It's like molding your mentality with the same intentional and concentrated effort as a sculptor molds clay. Having trouble getting past something? Turn the page. It's not a dead end. Rather, it's a detour that encourages growth and demonstrates how to succeed in your own business. Continue to paint the picture of your life, but do so with assurance. Allow each movement to be intentional and free from self-doubt. Being alone is a place you fill with your motivation and aspirations, not with nothingness. When you create alone, it's a journey of self-discovery rather than just focusing on the final product. You gain perseverance, patience, and the sheer joy of creating something from nothing. These qualities are all acquired via creativity. So why not give that project you've had sitting around a try? Or maybe take up a new interest that piques your curiosity as a hobby. You never know whence the seed you sow today will grow into a tree. Keep in mind that creation is an essential component of one's internal dialogue and not a luxury in the Stoic quest of personal development. In these moments, you will discover the true you, bare and fearless, ready to add a line to the epic tale of life. 7. Take up self-reflection and journaling. Setting off on a voyage of solitude involves more than just time spent by oneself. It also entails having a thoughtful conversation with yourself. Imagine Marcus Aurelius not only as an emperor, but also as a person who transformed his introspection into the everlasting meditations. What if you could use your reflections and thoughts to help you navigate life's highs and lows? This is about expressing yourself and taking notes, not about writing flawless prose. Have you ever thought that keeping a journal could be all it takes to let doors open within you that you were unaware ever existed? A thorough examination of the practice of journaling and self-reflection reveals an indisputable fact. It's a dialogue with one's inner self. You're not only documenting occurrences when you write down your ideas, anxieties, and goals, you're also practicing mental cleaning. This method reveals your actual desires as well as any obstacles you may be encountering. It's similar like talking candidly and deeply with a buddy who is closest to you. How frequently do we confront our true emotions and the motivations behind our acts by asking ourselves the tough questions? This exercise has the power to transform us by acting as a mirror and reflecting back to us our most profound truths. Journaling as a means of self-discovery is not an easy or intended path. It forces you to confront the unvarnished, unfiltered version of yourself. But it's in these pages that development and self-awareness flourish. Recall that Marcus Aurelius wrote exclusively for his own use as a way to manage his surroundings and his thoughts. He never intended for anyone to read what he had to say. Nonetheless, great works of literature provide profound understandings of the human condition that endure over time. What pearls of knowledge may you discover in your journal, not only for today, but as a record of your life's journey? Take up this exercise as an exploration of your own self rather than as a chore. You might be surprised by the clarity and beauty of solitude. What do you think? You're getting something unique from us if you stay through to the very finish. It's no secret that Stoicism is a path to a meaningful and happy life, not merely a book on how to enjoy your own company. Now is your chance to join thousands of others who are already using Stoic wisdom to alter their lives if you are sick and tired of living a life devoid of meaning or fulfillment. Don't hesitate. Get your seat by clicking the link below. And that's it. Thank you for viewing. And don't pass up this chance to change your life. Your future self will be appreciative.